unsolvable. The spiritual life is not like that. But the point is, it's tricky. One has to spend sufficient time. It's tricky. Charge on the sufficient time. It's just like a small child. A naughty child, he doesn't come in the hands. And he doesn't eat. He will not drink milk. So the point is not that he will not eat at all. But there is a way to make him eat. It's tricky. For that, one has to spend sufficient time with the child. One has to spend sufficient time with the child. And then one can understand, okay, this is the way we can drive this forward. So in a similar way, we see these spiritual principles are tricky. One has to spend sufficient time to be able to understand. A material world, it's not tricky. It's out of reach.
What is that? What is that?
Tough means out of reach. You cannot reach to the solution. Tricky means solution is nearby only. You have to go deeper and spend time. You will find the solution.
Situation or environment?
Environment. Situation. Same. So that's how it is actually. So material question papers. That's why materialistic people, they reach nowhere. Because the question paper doesn't allow them to reach anywhere. Like that. The question paper doesn't allow them to reach anywhere. That is the point actually. Question paper doesn't allow them to reach. A spiritual life is easy, but it requires one to invest himself. That is the point. So therefore here now the Lord is giving an analogy that a person who is in Krishna consciousness, he may act in ways which appear similar to attached people. And Prabhupada makes the point that Krishna conscious and not Krishna conscious is differentiated by desires. So that's why the question is being raised. So now if a Krishna conscious person is acting just like materialistic people, that means which action is Krishna conscious? If the action of Krishna conscious person is similar to materialistic person, that means which action can be classified as Krishna conscious and which action can be classified as non-Krishna conscious. This is the point. This is much. And that is where we are saying that bhakti, what is bhakti is an interesting concept. Action. So how to understand this? What do you call as hearing? There is hearing in 3 modes. There is hearing in 3 modes. And what do you call as service? Is dressing the deity service? Is constructing the temple service? Is reaching out to people service, but reaching out to which kind of people is service and which kind of people is not service. So the whole concept, now we say hearing, what type of hearing is bhakti? Is hearing for 1 hour in a week is bhakti? Or hearing for 8 hours in a day is bhakti? What is bhakti? Is it that? What type of hearing? So the whole thing is that actually here lies the trick, or here lies the point. So many times we, because of our own perceptions and opinions, make our own understandings of what is right and what is not. And that is why we commit the mistake of being judgmental. So what is pleasing to Krishna is an important question actually. We have to understand the nature of Krishna to understand what is pleasing and what is not pleasing. Because it's quite subjective, is it not? It's quite subjective. So now we have to understand that Krishna is our loving Father. So therefore actually, so the whole situation is that of love. So the dynamics of love were completely different than normal material dynamics. And therefore we will see many times what happens is that a loving father, what he does is that he becomes very interested in the crooked, broken, meaningless, tidbit, talks of the child. You've seen children speaking, they speak broken words. Many times their words are not properly linked. There is not much flow in that. And there's not much sense also into that. No? But you will see parents very absorbed in hearing what their children are to speak. No? And the child, suppose reciting a poem, and the child is telling, and the child, so many times he may mess up also. This is not. And the child says, Baba, black sheep. Bus. After that, he doesn't speak anything again. The parents are very happy. Oh, black sheep. No. Now, Baba, black sheep has no meaning actually. Is it not? Like that. No? What does it mean that? Is it like that? Sometimes the child may say a poem is black sheep may sat on the wall and had a fall. No? Now, black sheep did not sat on the wall and had a fall, but the parents are very happy. At least something is happening. Is it? So what is the point is that parents are very interested in the affairs of the child. And sometimes children are excited, and the reason why they are excited is completely flimsy and not understandable only. And sometimes children are morose, and the reason why they are morose is also not understandable and flimsy. So you observe this. Parents are very interested in hearing the talks of the child. And many times, or most of the time, these talks are useless, meaningless. Actually. So where is the meaning? Where is the taste? Where is the meaning and where is the taste? So the point which comes out is that the meaning and the taste is that of connectivity. So what is satisfying for the parent is that his child is using all crooked language and all crooked things and all that and all broken words and this and that, but somehow or the other they get the message that this child is pointing his vectors towards as dependence on the parents, and that is what is most satisfying to them. Is it? Although the words may not carry a lot of meaning, they are broken. although the children's perceptions may not be very proper, but what parents understand is that this boy is Ashlepanis. And therefore they are very interested in the affairs of the child. Like sometimes the child is morose and parents are asking, "Arey, what happened? What happened? Why are you crying? You know? Oh, why are you crying? Why are you crying?" You know, like that. And then he says, you know, "Who is troubled? Who is troubled?" You know? And the child is silly. He is troubled. The parents is troubled. Hey! Is troubled? And the child is very happy. So the point is, you know, not much meaning in all these kinds of reciprocations. You know? It's nonsense, bogus. You know? But then only what is being exchanged is that one is dependent and the other is now accepted. That is the whole point. So whatever the child is speaking, he is connecting it to his parents. And he may go here and there, but it revolves around them. And this is what is satisfying. So in a similar fashion, so when an ordinary father and mother can spend hours hearing the bogus, broken, nonsensical words of the child, what do you think the Supreme Lord will do? So many times the living entity, because of his broken and tidbit understandings, make some broken and out of flow and disjoint tidbit concepts. Like that. Tidbit concepts. And by making these tidbit concepts, a person tries to connect it to Krishna. Mind it, Krishna is a loving. So he is very interested in the loving affairs of the child. Therefore, you will see Bhagavatam, when somebody starts speaking to Krishna, Krishna becomes very interested. हाँ बेटा बताओ. हाँ बोलो बोलो क्या बोलना चाहते हैं. So you see these demigods every now and then they reach to Krishna, and Krishna very intentfully listens to them. Is it that? बताओ बताओ क्या पूछना है. Not that Krishna is seeking for praise and glorification. That he is having some charge मुझे कोई glorify नहीं कर रहा. Problem क्या है? Not like that. So Krishna very intent on hearing, and these demigods are doing full glorification. Oh, you are so great, and you can take one back to Godhead and take off his material existence, this, that, And finally they say, please kill this enemy for our sake, And it is explained the Lord becomes a little morose and disgusted. तो ना कहानी सुनाने को यही पूछना. Is it? But the Lord, so the point is, the focus is that, and the Lord knows statistically from data analysis, ये demigods नालायक हैं. है कि नहीं? कुछ भी करेंगे, इतना बड़ा philosophy झाड़ेंगे, श्लोका झाड़ेंगे, लेकिन ultimately एक चूहिया के पीछे ही भागेंगे, ना? है कि नहीं? खुदा पहाड़ निकला चूहिया. They will speak big philosophy, universe, creation, universe, setting, modes, this, that, full analysis. And what do you want? My sense gratification should be secure. You secure my sense gratification. So Krishna, every time still he hears very intently. You see the nature of Krishna. Now Krishna is full data analytics expert. He knows ये नालायक है, जिस भी लूप में जाता है वहीं पे गड़बड़ मार देता है ना. Like that. But still he is very intent. हाँ बताओ क्या होता है ना, like that. So that is the point actually. He is a loving father. So what the Lord wants to see is that in whatever the living entity is fluffing around, all is bogus, but at least he is fluffing around something towards Krishna, on away from Krishna. This is the definition of bhakti. So this is the point actually. Therefore somebody will say, okay, Krishna's service means one has to be very, one has to be very perfectionist. No frivolousness is allowed. Krishna's service, these are the rules. One has to stand by that, It's 1, 2, 3, It's like that, So that is his understanding of what is service, like that. Take it. And those rules are so bombastic, whoever walks on that pathway, it's like Shurasya Dhara, it's like, so, yeah. Yeah, so one gets cut on all places and then he's crying out, oh Krishna, hey Krishna, like that. And that is how he's walking, like that. But you see, Krishna accepts this also. Again. And there is another candidature. This candidature says, okay, Krishna's service means heart. Do whatever you want with heart, like that. But the heart element is so much emphasized that people don't come out of heart only. So nothing takes place. Like sometimes we see yatras are of two types. One type of yatra is what? That the systems are so sleek and so stingy, that everything is there in so much perfection and like that. That you will get all the items, but because everything is so much perfect, that okay, this much only has to be released. And this much only has to be released, The net result of that will be that you will be hungry. 6-item feast, but because it is so much meticulous, ये स्पून का साइज इतना ही होगा, ये प्रसाद इतना ही मिलेगा, It's very meticulous actually. Not a grain of rice is wasted, But then finally the net result is person is still hungry, And there is another type of yatras, this is spontaneous yatras, Again. Everything is going on. अब preacher से पूछो, प्रभु जी प्रसाद का क्या अवस्था? बोले प्रसाद? कृष्ण कथा is the topmost प्रसाद. Continue. कुछ आना होगा तो भगवान ला लेंगे, कहाँ से तो आसमान से लेके आएंगे, like that. The lecture is supposed to end at lunchtime, ends at 5 o'clock, and then everyone is wondering, अरे कुछ खाने को है क्या? And here and there and get something, इधर उधर से जुगाड़ करके इधर उधर, so people have to dig now, So people dig, jump, yell, howl here, there, get something, it distributed to everyone, spontaneous. The net feeling. So perfectionism and transcendentalism, like that. So the point is, Krishna accepts it all. Because no matter in whatever ways one does it, the point is he's doing it for Krishna. Krishna accepts it. That is the point. That's why we are making a point, what is bhakti and what is not. And that's why the Lord is making the point that a devotee can act in ways which a materialist also acts. One may not find much difference, because the difference is on the platform of desires. So this is the point actually, which the Lord is highlighting here. And therefore the whole concept is very broad. There is love which is involved in the whole concept. So therefore the Lord is telling now, let's see the next verse. Then what we are discussing will become more clear. Na buddhi vedam janaye ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharam. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties. A learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. So, very important principle now the Lord is making. The Lord is telling, do not disturb or agitate others. You don't worry whether it is direct or indirect. But therefore the Lord is making the point that do not induce them to stop work. Let them work. But you connect that work to me. That is the point. So generally we will see that on a materialistic note, these disruption algorithms are very prominent. Like say for example, somebody follows some spiritual principle in a say loose setting. He follows it a little loosely. Again. Now say for example, say eating. Like somebody he doesn't mind eating in Govindas, some little tasty, spicy, like that. He's okay with it. Some pani puri, he's okay with it. So now when he watches another devotee who is very strict, so what he will say? What he will say? He will say this fellow is fanatic. Again, and he has made his own box and he is getting drowned in that box. Whereas the whole world is free. Fresh air to breathe, like that. So he will say like that. So now his vision of or his comment of fanatic, what will do? The other person gets disrupted. Is it not? Now if you take the same point the other way. Now if a person is too strict in a principle and he observes somebody who is not following it so strictly, what does he say? Vishay. Again, fallen soul. Again. Like that. So what happens again? This attitude disrupts the other person. So we will see materialistic visions both ways are disruptive. Material visions both ways are disruptive. So somebody say for example he doesn't do hearing, when others look at him we will say इसको तो है ही नहीं कुछ hearing, है कि नहीं? And somebody does too much hearing, then also उसका हमेशा चलता ही रहता है, रात को भी चलता है रात को भी लगा रहता है, ऑन भी रहता है है कि नहीं? सुबह नहाते समय भी ऑन रहता है और क्लियरिंग को गया तो भी लगा रहता है ना, इतना हियरिंग खतरनाक है ना। तो इनमें से ये क्या है, थ्योरेटिकल है, अंदर कुछ नहीं घुसता है उसका, इधर से इधर जा रहा है ना, है कि नहीं, इस्कॉन ट्रेडिशन है ना, लाइक दैट. So you see, both the visions are disruptive only, isn't it? The other person gets to hear what is happening, it's disrupted from what he is doing, isn't it? अभी कोई स्ट्रिक्ट है तो उसको दुत्कार आता है, स्ट्रिक्ट है ना, और कोई उदार है तो बोलेंगे अरे तुम तो लूज है, तुम्हारे कंट्रोल में कुछ भी नहीं है, यू आर गैसियस एग्जिस्टेंस, कोई सॉलिडिटी नहीं है ना, तो गैसियस है ना, लाइक दैट. So the point is that material nodes, visions are always disruptive, and this is what the Lord is warning to the living entity. So the Lord is pointing, so that means that the living entity, his natural दृष्टिकोण is विस्फोटात्मक दृष्टिकोण, है ना? It does not matter in whatever state that fellow is. Mind it, we are only talking about devotees. So the दृष्टिकोण is विस्फोटात्मक, है ना? Like that. It does not matter what state that person is in, what state the observer is in, what state the observed is in, no? And what is the absolute state doesn't matter. If he is this way, it is this way punch, no? If it is that way, it is that way punch, no? Visphotatma, no? है कि नहीं? ऐसा है. So we will see that this is the dृष्टिकोण actually. So material energy has started this kind of dृष्टिकोण, है कि नहीं? Material energy teaches us this kind of dृष्टिकोण. Whereas you see, spiritual life is not visphotatma. The Lord doesn't want this visphotatma dृष्टिकोण. See what is the Lord is telling? Okay, they are going slow. Others, they are going slow. So no problem. Let be happy, at least they are walking. चल तो रहा है, खुश रहो ना. One cannot say snail speed, ना. One cannot say snail speed. One cannot be visphotatma, ना. हाँ ठीक है, चला है. That is what the Lord is saying. Okay, you may be practicing a higher principle, but then you cannot see ये बेकार है. So that is विस्फोटात्मक दृष्टिकोण. जो भी सर्कल में आया, विजन में आया, उसको उड़ा दिया ना. विस्फोटात्मक, like that. So you see, the point is that you see, when the child is born, you know, see, there are a lot of lessons we can learn from children. No? When this child is born, this fellow, he is absolutely clumsy and yeah, actually, this fellow is absolutely clumsy. You know, most of the time he's sleeping only, you know, and parents are just so happy seeing his face. So nice. And you touch him, immediately starts saying, like that. He's a very clumsy fellow, you know. Most of the time he sleeps, you know. And the times which is not sleeping is either not doing intake or he's doing, isn't that? So either he's giving opportunity to surf by accepting. Okay, or he is giving Mahaprasad, you distribute among yourself now. Okay. It's like in the morning some devotees are telling about some child, Okay. So this child came to dance and gave Mahaprasad, Okay. Now you remain engaged in the service. Is it? The children are very clumsy fellows, like that, and you look at their movements, snail speed, Is it not? Snail speed movements, take it. Yeah, snail speed, You see children walking, 2 steps he'll walk, he'll get tired and sit down. And then say, Mumma, क्या चाहिए? Bodhi, चलना नहीं. Isn't that? Very clumsy in that sense, isn't it? Very snail speed in that sense. So the point what we are trying to make is that, but parents are most happy, isn't it? Parents are most attached. See, that is love. The parents are most attached. So you see the nature of parents, somebody clumsy, they are more happy to see that this fellow is doing something at least. Again, isn't that? It's like somebody nalayak in studies, parents will observe more. Like, क्या पढ़ा तुमने, Sample problem कितना solve किया, कर दिया solve. शाबाश. And somebody topper उसका पूरा